Well, hello, Igirl Tech News. This is Madai Zaldivar here once again, and today I'm very excited to be with the fabulous Laurelle Johnson, who is working with Entrepreneurial. So we're going to find out a little bit today about all these amazing things that you've accomplished so far and other things that you are working towards. So welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about this interview.
Well, good. I'm glad you're excited. This is great. So let's start with a little bit about your background. Tell us about it and how you became interested in speaking in coaching.
Well, I have a degree in communications, which is all about human interaction and human communications.
Okay.
And I also had a fabulous corporate career with a large telecommunications tech company.
Okay.
We launched the internet.
Wow.
And I was in charge of all of the Fortune 500 companies in the Los Angeles area. And so it meant that we had to do a lot of client presentations.
Okay.
And, you know, it helped us close anywhere from $15 million contracts all the way up to $75 million contracts. So you really had to know your stuff.
Yes, that's a big wow. How did you get from the 15 million to the 75 million? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Well, it had to do with different clients and the different size of clients.
Okay.
And so the 15 million was probably early on in the career, and then the 75 million was close to the end of the career with that particular company. And the best part about the 75 million is that it was the accumulation of knowledge and experience that we brought to the table, that I brought to the table. And really developing that rapport with the decision maker.
Right.
And so, you know, in the end, it all comes down to relationships, and that's what this was.
So I'm assuming with every deal, it was a different experience. So you learn from one and then took whatever you learned and it just kept building from there.
Absolutely. Whatever we learned at 15 or 35 million, we applied to 45 and 75 million.
Wow. Now tell us a little bit about strategies for growth.
Well, nothing gets me out of bed faster in the morning than knowing that I'm going to work with a whiz-bang entrepreneur.
That's awesome. For me, it's coffee, but that's what it is for her. Amazing. Awesome.
Right. Or being able to work with emerging growth companies who are saying, you know what, I need money to keep going. And so I get to step in with my team and take a look at their business and take those whiz-bang ideas that are floating around like atoms above their brains and bringing it down so that it makes cohesive sense. So it's everything from looking at the idea, the execution of the idea, the market, the size of the market, the numbers. I mean, entrepreneurs for some reason don't want to do numbers, but we help them with the numbers.
Okay.
And then create something that's cohesive, defensible, and that an investor is going to say, wow, I want to invest in that.
Wow, you can tell you're so passionate about that when your eyes just light up. So it's obviously something that gets you going every single day.
Absolutely.
And what are some of the issues you think women deal with when raising money?
You know, women face the same kinds of hurdles that men do.
Okay.
But I think with women, it's a matter of understanding that they too can ask for money.
Okay.
And that's what we bring to the table. It's talking to a woman and saying, look, this is not death. Okay. It may feel like it, but I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I ran into an entrepreneur and she said to me, I need your help because I'm going to be out of money in about 6 months and I have to raise the cash in order to keep my doors open.
Okay.
And she was this very hyper enthusiastic woman, and so I said, whoa, let's slow down, let's bring it all into a cohesive business plan, presentation. Let's get you, you know, feeling confident and good about talking about it in every shape or form. And so, you know what? After we finished working together, she went out and she raised her $500,000, and her doors are open, and she hasn't looked back since.
Wow, because I could imagine for some women, or just anyone in general, it gets very overwhelming. Like you don't know how to break it down.
Right.
So that's where you come in and you help them break that down.
Exactly.
Simplify it a bit.
Just to let you know, women can get overwhelmed, but so do men.
Oh, I believe that.
Right. And I think sometimes women are reluctant to go out and ask daddy for money.
Okay.
And one of the things that I do is help them understand that they're asking money for the business. It's not your baby. It's not your, you know, your end all be all. It's not even who you are.
Yeah.
It's something you created and that the rest of the world is going to have a fabulous interest in. And as soon as that aha moment happens for a woman, then she becomes fearless in going out and raising money.
Okay. Now, what are a couple of the things a founder must get right before going after money? So before you go after that money, what do you think needs to be in place first?
I think every founder needs to know everything about their business. They need to know what their idea is, who it appeals to, what the competition is, what's the size of the market, what problem are they solving, and how many people are going to pay to have that problem solved through their idea. So, for a mobile app, you have to know how many people are willing to download and then interact with the app. There's a lot of competition. What problem are you solving? So I think there's some basic building blocks that we come in and we help them put together so that they understand their business on a very minute level and then on an overall level. And that lets them have that conversation with a potential client, potential investor in a really enthusiastic, confident, comprehensive way. It's really easy. Once you know how to do it, it's easy.
It's just like you said, that aha moment of figuring it out, and once you get it, then you can do that.
Right.
Now, how does strategy change when you're going after crowdfunding versus VC or angel money?
Wow. Okay. So let's start with the VCs.
Okay.
You're asking for a huge chunk of change from a small number of people.
Okay.
So you have to be able to show them what your business is all about and how it's going to make money, what's the return on investment. And in exchange, you're going to give them equity, and you're going to ask them to open up their Rolodex and their resources and their knowledge and their advice to help you be successful. So you're dealing with a small number of people for a large amount of money in exchange for equity. On a crowdfunding, you're appealing to the masses.
A big crowd of people.
So you have to ask a lot of people for little pieces of money. $25, $50, $500. And you have to be engaged with all those 20,000 people who are going to believe in your idea and give you money. And in exchange, you're going to give them some kind of reward. And it's very important you deliver on that reward. I mean, let's take a look at Pebble, They raised $2 million 2 years ago, and they still haven't delivered their product. So now there's a problem. So some of the two women let's talk about women and guts. They went out and they needed a truck, and it's called a yarn over truck, and it's a truck where you go in and you learn how to knit and crochet.
Oh, awesome.
So they needed to raise $10,000 to buy and refit the truck. All right. So they did a crowdfunding campaign. And they gave rewards, and they made their goal. But the two women said, I often felt like I was begging for money. But we made our goal, and now they're all over Los Angeles, the yarn over truck. It's just a great success.
Taken off.
It's taken off.
And how long did this take? How long has it been around?
They only had 3 months to do it in because they had a deadline. They wanted to show up with their truck at the National, Yarn People's Convention.
I didn't know there was a National Yarn People's Convention.
Oh, yeah. Knitters are big. Crochet's big.
You see, you learn something new every single day.
Exactly. But the thing is they became fearless in asking for money from a lot of people to fund their idea.
I think the fearless part is kind of important, don't you think? You almost have to take a leap of faith sometimes.
You start with a leap of faith, but then it becomes a skill. And it's like learning to walk. You learn to walk. And as a kid, you might have been a little bit afraid, but you did it. People go off, they jump off cliffs, or they swim in water with sharks, or they go do something scary.
They drive in LA traffic. Yeah, exactly.
But it's the idea of learning how to do something. And then repeating it over and over again. Until it becomes second nature. And with the business, that's what it's all about. You know exactly, and you learn very quickly how to identify your target market. You learn very quickly how much it's going to cost you to get to the target market. These are all acquirable skills. This is what I do best, is to show them and give them the experience. So there's no fear. It's like second nature. Oh, could have had a V8.
Now, when did it become second nature for you? When did you have that moment of, this is what I'm good at, this is what I love, this is what I want to do?
Oh, geez, I was kind of born with it. I will tell you, I had an innate ability that was then coupled with great training. So I had experience in, I had training and experience in college. And then when I stepped into the corporate world, I got a lot of training. So it, where I had to build the confidence was in going after the bigger and bigger deals.
And you built it because you got there.
But in a sense, being caution or having fear makes you prepare. And you have to practice, you have to prepare. And so I remember sitting around with the team saying, okay, what are we doing here? And I do that with the entrepreneurs. I sit down with them and I say, okay, what are you doing here? Let's figure this out. And let's put this in a format that makes sense to you and is going to make sense to an investor.
And that's what you need. Now, what would you consider is the most important part of the pitch when talking to investors?
There isn't one important thing
Okay.
that you have to present to an investor.
Right.
It's a series of things. But what you have to have most of all is confidence in the ability to defend your idea. And you get that through an organized sense of your company.
Okay.
And the ability to talk about all the different parts because you've worked with me.
Okay.
Because I've been able to show you this connects to this, connects to this. And if he asks you this question, here's how you answer it. And quite frankly, you need to know the answer anyway, regardless of who's asking you, because that's part of your business.
Right. Now, what do you find most startups are getting wrong? And how do you help them to fix it?
I don't know if there's something that they're getting wrong.
Okay.
I always see it as a lack of knowledge.
Okay.
And so when I work with an entrepreneur, I always look for the best of them and I bring that
Right.
out. And then I look at their business, I bring the best of the business and I bring it out, and then we merge the two. So it's not that they're getting anything wrong, it's that I get to help them get it right and infuse them with that confidence
Right.
and the knowledge
Yeah.
and the ability to do it. I mean, what a thrill, right?
Yeah, I keep hearing the word confidence a lot, and I think that is it safe to say that's a very important part of going ahead with a business and being. I know you said it's a numbers game as far as what's successful, but do you find like when someone has that confidence, or you help them gain that confidence to move forward, they kind of get it better, and
I think confidence is infused with knowledge.
Okay.
And so when I can show them what knowledge is and how
Yeah.
they keep their knowledge fresh in their head,
Right.
it just infuses a natural sense of confidence.
Okay.
So it's not like I can give you confidence.
Right.
I have to help you get to the point where you have confidence.
Right.
And
Through
so
the
when
knowledge.
And
Right.
when I work with somebody, I work with their style.
Right. So you will adapt to what their style of what they're
Absolutely.
doing instead of vice versa, having them adapt to something you're used to or
Right.
that you
People
do.
say, what's your methodology? And I say, I go with the individual methodology.
Amazing.
It's not cookie cutter.
Exactly.
At all.
Exactly. So what are some of the traits that you think are required to be a great entrepreneur?
Persistence. Understanding the peaks and valleys,
Okay.
being able to sit down and be coachable,
Okay.
and to take advice,
That's a good one.
and to act on advice.
Yes.
I've worked with entrepreneurs that are fabulous at, what do I do? What do I do? What do I
Right.
do? How do I do? Oh, is that how I do it?
Okay.
I'm going to do that. I recently talked with someone I had worked with,
Right.
and she said, oh, I just had a meeting with my lead investor, and he gave me the best piece of advice.
Okay.
And after she told me what it was, I said, are you going to do it? She goes, you bet. And I thought, now that's a successful person.
Right. Because they're open to
They're not this.
gaining. Right.
They're
Yeah.
open because business is sort of this wild game. It's like a circus with all these acts going on.
Oh, yeah.
And you're the ringleader. And you have to be able to say, well, that act's not working anymore. They're off the whiteboard. Let's bring in something different. Oh, look, we have a bigger crowd now.
We're in a constantly changing world. I would think business is all constantly, everything's changing. So you have to be adaptable and open to advice in order to be successful and move on and grow.
Right. I mean, nothing to me is more exciting than change. And I know some people don't like change. But the thing is that when you're an adventurous at heart, as I am,
Right.
and most entrepreneurs are very adventurous, that's what it is. It's one adventure after another.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It's you look at somebody who says no, you go, well, they just don't get it. Okay,
Right.
on to the next.
Right.
So, that sense of adventure is very important to have for an entrepreneur. I think that's a trait that we should put in there. It's like, you have to be adventurous.
Adventurous to be an entrepreneur. It just reminds me of something I just read. It says, your life begins or your success begins the second you step out of your comfort zone. Because sometimes when you're so used to something, when you step out of that, it's when that change comes and great things
Right.
can happen in that change. So
I agree. I think the thing though with the comfort zone though is that you can stretch it like a rubber band.
Right.
And it's not that you're going to say, okay, I love being on the couch surfing the internet, and
Right.
then I'm going to go and fly to some exotic country where go through culture shock.
Right.
I think it's done in measurable, it can be done in little steps, but it has to be done.
That's the key thing, though, that it has to be done
It has to be done.
in order to grow and to be successful.
I mean, I'm facing emptiness syndrome, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be sad and morose. But I'm doing the happy dance because it's now an adventure.
Right. Right.
All right.
So you have this whole new life and world ahead of you now.
And
that's different.
That's
It's change. This is good.
And it's good change. When you look at change as something that's bad, that's tragedy.
Right.
But when you embrace change and you say, okay, what else can I do differently? You know, that's what you want. That's what you have to crave, that entrepreneur, not human being, period.
Yeah.
It's what keeps you, what makes us alive.
I have to say, just talking to you, I love your passion you have at this, even at this stage in your career still, for what you do in life. I think it's amazing. Wish everyone could keep that, because a lot of times people lose it, you know, and it's really, I think it's important to still always keep that.
You know, enthusiasm can be lost.
Right.
But just like anything, it can be picked back up again.
Right.
You know,
that's true.
The enthusiasm comes from finding something that makes sense, that you want to do, that engages you, that oh wow, what else is there in this?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think enthusiasm is important, confidence is important,
and knowledge.
but enthusiasm pulls you into that. You know, if you were talking about the comfort zone, enthusiasm can pull you to go out of your comfort zone. And what happens? You gain experience, you gain knowledge, and now you have a new comfort zone.
Amazing.
And that's how it works.
And how should a founder decide if they should participate in an accelerator program or in an incubator one?
Well, you know, accelerator and incubator are often used as interchangeable terms.
Okay.
So one thing we do at Strategies for Growth is that we work with entrepreneurs on their investment strategy.
Okay.
So should they go to an accelerator? Should they go to a VC? Should they go to an angel? Should they do crowdfunding? We take a look at all of them. And again, this is based on the nature of the business.
Okay.
This is based on the numbers.
Okay.
So with an accelerator, you have to make the decision of, will the minimal amount of money give me what I need, and the time and the resources to get my business off the ground or in a growth phase?
Okay.
All right? Some accelerators, it's only $25,000 in cash.
Okay.
Can you raise more in crowdfunding? Well, yes, we can. Okay, let's keep crowdfunding.
Okay.
I think it has to be a business decision based on the nature of the business and what you're going to get in return out of the incubator or the accelerator. Because remember, you're giving up equity.
Right.
And is that a good business decision?
Okay. And now, for someone that might be watching that doesn't know the difference, can you tell us the difference between an accelerator and an incubator? I know you said they can be interchangeable, but what are any differences there might be between the two?
Well, it depends on each one of the incubators and accelerators as to how they define themselves. But in general, an accelerator is where you have an idea, you come in and you accelerate the creation of the business.
Okay.
An incubator oftentimes will own a large portion of your idea, and then they bring their staff to bear and they create the business with you.
Okay.
But again, you know, you have to interview them as much as they're interviewing you, and you have to decide if that's right for you and your business.
Yeah, because it's your idea and you're the one that knows where you want it to go.
Exactly, if it's right for you and your business.
Now, I like this one. What would you say, speaking again, is your driving passion? What gets you excited for a whole new day?
Knowing that I'm going to talk and work with a whiz-bang entrepreneur or emerging growth company that is stuck. And I get to go and help them unstick themselves from wherever they are. Because sometimes when you're so deep in your business, you can't see what really is out there. So I get to bring that outside perspective, and I get to sort of unstick them.
Right.
And say, look, here is how this can flow. Have you thought of this? And again, that coachability factor comes into play. So that's what gets me out of bed is, ooh, what's new today?
Yeah.
Who do I get to play with?
Yeah. That's awesome. And you also do public speaking, which I also saw when I looked at your resume.
Yes.
How can we learn more about that and find out when and where you're speaking next?
I encourage everybody to go to laurellejohnson.com.
Okay.
And I will post there where I'm speaking next.
Okay.
I do a lot of panel moderation.
Okay.
And there's a couple of things in the works, so I'll be posting them as they come up.
Okay.
But they can also contact me and talk to me personally if they want to work with me. So laurellejohnson.com.
And they can go straight. So laurellejohnson.com. Don't forget that, folks. And I have to ask, how did you get into public speaking? How did you make the transition from what you were doing into that first public speaking?
Well, I had done public speaking more or less my entire life.
Okay.
And I went and was coached.
Awesome.
I went and I found a speaking coach, and
Right.
I said, I need help
Uh-huh.
because I need someone to tell me
Yeah.
what I need to be doing.
Okay.
And they were absolutely fabulous in helping me. And I'll share a little secret with you.
Okay. Share away.
I worked with a television producer yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and I said, help me. And we ran through everything together.
Okay.
We practiced practice answering the questions. She helped me pick out my outfit. Worked out real great, Catherine. And so, even as a coach, you need to be coached.
You need to be coached always.
And so to make that transition, those are the steps I took.
I want this lady coaching me. You're amazing. It's so
Happy to
awesome.
work with you.
LaurelleJohnson.com. All right, and I will repeat that one more time, folks. If you guys would like to know when she's speaking next or any information, make sure you go to her website, LaurelleJohnson.com. Check it out, folks. Laurelle, thank you for joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close here?
Yes, there's one thing
Okay.
I'd like to say. There are no bad ideas.
Ah.
It's just knowing how to execute it.
Okay.
And that's where I come in, and I can help execute it really, really well. So don't think your idea is a bad one. Find out how you can make it a great one.
And find out at, once again, LaurelleJohnson.com. Laurelle, it was such a pleasure speaking with you and meeting you. Amazing.
Thank you.
And best wishes with all your future endeavors. You've already done so much. So
Thank you.
Enjoy the empty nest. All
Thank
right,
you very
guys.
much.
Thank you. This has been Madai Zaldivar once again for igirltechnews.com.